Welcome to the Vernon Hills Update. The update offers information about a variety of village services. You'll meet a few of your neighbors and you'll find out about upcoming events. On today's show, we'll get a sneak peek at this year's Oktoberfest celebration, planned for Saturday, October 6th at the Vernon Hills Metro Station. We'll talk with Assistant Village Manager John Kalmar to find out about the local economy as well as what's in the works on the Vernon Hills development front. We'll check in with Crime Prevention Officer Sharon Joseph to brush up on some important rules of the road, especially now that more school buses and pedestrians are on the move. We'll meet the people at Symphony Clinical Research, a local organization headquartered right here in Vernon Hills that does business across the nation and the globe. We'll find out how to sign up for a couple of important communication services available through the Village of Vernon Hills so that you and your family can stay informed. And we'll learn about the Vernon Hills Lady Cougars feeder basketball program and their upcoming tryouts. If you have comments or questions, please contact Mike Storto at 847-918-3560 or email mikes@vhills.org. Thank you for tuning in to the Vernon Hills Update.
Well, it is that time of year again. Time to start thinking about Oktoberfest and Was los, you guys. I know. That's the extent of my German.
Wie geht es Ihnen is mine.
Nice, nice. So we're here with Mike Allison and Monica Lundeen to talk about Oktoberfest. And this has been going on for years and always to the good of the community. It's for your nonprofits here. So
absolutely. This is the 8th year. The very first year was the Hurricane Katrina, and we've just continued the giving as we give to the all the nonprofits. Mm-hmm. Their booths are there, and then also the money from the raffle goes to them. And we're going to have a great year this year. We've got the petting zoo again. We've got the kids' crafts that are being sponsored by Advocate Condell.
And those kids' crafts, that's huge because you usually do enough for like 300 plus kids and you still always run out. So people have to understand that this is free, it's provided by our sponsors, but it does run out because there's a lot of kids in town.
Right. As soon as it runs out, it's done. Okay. And then we've got the pumpkin painting, and that's being sponsored by Home Depot, and their employees are coming out to help with it, which I think is really nice. And we added an extra 100 pumpkins this year, so it should be fabulous. And again, as soon as that runs out, that's done also. We have the Record-A-Hits, which is all the inflatables, and those should be really fun because the kids all really enjoy that. We have a hayride, which is sponsored by the Park District.
Right.
And then our lineup is Jamie Lono, who is the second season from The Voice, who also is an employee for Potbellies.
And he was at Summer Celebration, and people really enjoyed him. Yeah. He was very good, and there he did a solo act.
Right.
At Summer Celebration.
Right, we're having the whole band.
So that'll be a new dimension.
Absolutely, and then we've got a band called Silent Redemption. And then the headliner is called UFC Band, which means Ultimate Freaking Band.
Okay, so that's got to be good, right?
I think they're
don't look at me for inspiration.
You're not going to sing for us, okay?
Oh no!
But they're a cover band.
Okay, so
and they're
songs
fabulous. Okay. I mean, absolutely fabulous. And then we'll have beer and wine. And this year we're going to have some new beer. It's called Bitburger and Blue Moon and Miller and MGD. So that'll be fun. And our additional sponsors that helped us with this is Hits, Mariano's, Windy City Novelties, and Windy City Amusements. So this should be a fun year, and we are always looking for raffle prizes because all the money from the raffle does go to the nonprofit organizations. So we usually have about 50 to 75 raffle prizes. Tickets are $5. You can get them here or you can get them that day. Also, there's any prize that's ever under $50, which is kind of nice.
So you always get your money's worth.
You definitely get your money's worth.
And you say you're looking for raffle prizes, so if somebody had a business in town, they have a service they can offer or something they can donate, you're looking for that. And then they get you know, everybody knows who they are, so they get a little PR.
Oh yeah, that's really nice. And we announce it on stage, and people can pick them up, and yeah, it's really nice. If it's not a total of $50, it's okay. Whatever they can give is fine, because I put it together in order to make it a $50 raffle prize. So
okay, so people, if you've got something you want to get involved as a raffle giver, just talk to Monica. She'll help you out. So
yeah.
Well, and again, all the proceeds go to the nonprofits in town.
Well, tell us who's going to be there with the booths, because these are the places where you save up your appetite, you go booth to booth, you give your money to these guys, and those proceeds they all keep, and they all have something different, like, you know, pretzels or hot cider or whatever.
Now, you would ask me what they're actually
You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me what
it is here.
It's in very small. It's extremely small type. So let's just hear who's here.
No, okay. Well, the Vernon Hills Lions, the Vernon Hills Seniors, the Vernon Hills Athletic Association, known as Cougars for short, Cougar Parent Connection, Youth and Family Counseling, the Diamond Lake District PTO, District 76, Helping from Heaven, Vernon Hills Park District's going to be here, another governmental unit, National Exchange Club, the Boy Scout Troop 273, Cub Scout Pack 273, District 128, Community Partnership for Healthy Youth. Well, now I gotta find out. Chex Mix, Cougar Chow they're serving. You know, they're healthy youth, so and then the Ryan Breer Foundation. I believe I'm pronouncing it correctly. And so some of the things, the food is great, and again, this supports their efforts, all these nonprofits. But it's hot chocolate and cider, as mentioned by Monica, Baker's Square pies, and we thank our partner at Baker Square for giving a good value to the seniors so they can earn money for their different activities. Corn on the cob, pizza, popcorn, taffy apples, pretzels, ice cream bars. I'm starting to get hungry. Cotton candy, coffee, chips. Now, you gotta have coffee, right? Because it's gonna get a little cool. Yeah. Although it's gonna be 70 and sunny, right?
Absolutely.
But it might go down a little bit at night.
At night, well, because we gotta be able to dance. So
that's right. Yeah.
We'll be lucky if we get the weather we got last year. That was fabulous weather, and it was a great event, and people come out for this.
It's a lot of fun. It's a great community event. It's on a small scale. You know, compared to the other big event we do, Summer Celebration, it's a more low-key. It's for residents of the community. Of course, anybody's invited, but it's one of those kind of events, and you just really run into a lot of people.
Yeah,
you know
you really do.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's at the metro station, so there's generally plenty of parking, but a lot of people walk from the neighborhoods because they can just walk over to Metro all afternoon, all evening. And I have to say that the Park District's hayride is one of the best. They got nice big rubber tires, so you're not bouncing around. It goes through that. It's a little bit creepy at night. At night, it's a little creepy, Mike. I'm just saying.
To give you a creep factor.
Yeah, so you get a little bit of scare. Yeah.
Remember your days in high school taking hay rides and things?
Well, you know, because back in, you know, like in the early 20s when we were always,
days, Buckboard days, right?
Yeah, that's how I got to school every day on the hay wagon.
But we did forget to mention when this is.
Yes, it's a Saturday, October 6th.
October 6th, yes, a Saturday, October 6th. It's from 3 to 10. It is at the Vernon Hills Metro Station off of 4575, Route 45, across from Centennial Crossing subdivision. And we have a great time. There's plenty of parking, and there's plenty of things to do.
In and out. You can kind of come in and out a couple times. You can come in with the kids and then take them home and get the sitter and come back.
It's a great family thing because it kind of transitions, obviously, through the day, the kids in the afternoon and all the activities and everything. And then by 6 o'clock or so, 5:30, 6 o'clock, then it gets a little bit more adults. And
they start taking down the inflatables and stuff like that. And it gets
exactly.
Kind of transition.
But it's fun for everybody, the whole family, and it's a good time. Really.
Yeah, we're going to have one extra little added plus at this that I don't have advertised, is that we're going to have a caricature. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah.
Caricature. Yeah.
Oh, an artist? Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So he does about 8 to 10 an hour. So, get in line. And then we have Holly, who's going to be doing the balloons again.
Oh, yeah.
She does a fabulous job of those balloons.
Kids
But
like
when
those
it's done, it's done. You know, when her time is up, she's out of there. So there'll be a sign that says, you know, sorry, but
She's all done.
she's
She
done.
has to go to her hand masseuse.
I was going to
Yeah,
say
no
when her
kidding.
fingers
Watching
run
her
out. So.
do that for a couple
Oh
hours.
my gosh,
Wow.
it's amazing
Yeah.
to have a talent like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to have a talent to be able to draw too. So.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun, a lot of neighbors. Mark your calendar. Saturday, October 6th is the day at the Metro Station. Rain or shine, but it will shine. Information is online. If you want to know more or you want to help with like a raffle or you have a service you'd like to talk to Monica about putting in the raffle, give a call over here, go online, send an email, but mark your calendar. It's going to be a great day.
Yep.
It's fun. It's
It will
fun.
be
It's
fun.
fun.
And it's
Yep.
good for the community.
It's
That's a
great.
way to
And
do
we
it.
love fun, don't we?
Yeah,
We
fun
love
is
fun.
outside of work. We love fun.
Excellent.
So, but we'll be there volunteering our time and enjoying ourselves.
Excellent. So thank you very much. We'll
Yeah.
see you at Oktoberfest, everybody.
Happy Oktoberfest!
Well, we are at the Village of Vernon Hills Village Hall with Assistant Manager John Kalmar because it's about time we talk development. It's been a little while, and it seems like there's a lot going on. I understand you do have some good news in general about the sales tax picture, too.
Yeah, Lynn, thanks for being here, by the way. We are seeing some very positive trends, and while we continue to be cautiously optimistic about the direction that the village is going, I think we're seeing a very positive trend towards sales tax revenues that we're experiencing, which means people are shopping. They're optimistic, or a little bit more optimistic than they were several years ago. So we're very pleased so far. Again, cautiously optimistic. I think, as you've seen in several other articles, we're not, from the village's standpoint, our operations are much more streamlined than they were 3 or 4 years ago, and we are continuing that trend. But from a revenue standpoint, we're seeing some very positive direction from what's going on.
And when we talk about why that might be, you said like the economy getting better, people shopping more. Plus, you have a few more stores. I mean, over the last several months, there's some of your big spots have opened up. You've got your Steinhoffels and all those places.
Yeah, we actually saw from our low point, we've actually seen a decrease of almost 50% of our vacancy over the past 2 years, and that has come about through, again, I think some aggressive work on our part, and our part meaning the staff and the village board's part, to entice developers or uses to come back into town and occupy large spaces. A good example of that is the Steinhoffels project. Home Expo closed about 3 years ago. It was a very large space. We were able to work with Steinhoffels to bring them into town and provided them some economic incentive to remodel the building and everything like that. And as you can see today, it's a wonderful building and has really turned out to be a very nice centerpiece for that development. Same thing with H.H. Gregg, that helped contribute towards some remodeling in that shopping center and has spurred additional development in that shopping center, Town Line Commons Shopping Center. Mariano's, last time I think we were together, Mariano's hadn't been opened yet, and it is open and has been a spectacular success.
Well, and so spectacular, they have to get more parking.
Right. They've, as everybody knows, they opened a lot. It was underserving the customers. They built a brand new lot a year ago, almost a year ago, and at the Plan Commission last night there was a recommendation to expand the lot again, adding another 130 plus spaces. So it has been wildly successful, and we're so very pleased to have them here in town.
Mm-hmm. And when we talk about why sales tax is particularly important to a community like ours, that's really the lifeblood for us. We don't you're not going to see a property tax line item on our taxes here for the village. It's all sales tax, so we need to shop there.
That's right. I mean, our largest single source of revenue is from sales tax. And, you know, we're very fortunate in the community in that we have 3.4 million square feet of retail space here in town. And that is the largest source of income. So when people shop here in town, we receive 1% of that sales, and that goes to, again, paying for our operations, for whether it's police or whether it's building inspections or whether it's the overall administration of it, public works. You want your snow plowed, you know, that's all part of this. So it's the largest single source of revenue that we receive.
Okay. And before we talk a little bit more about some retail things going on, we had talked before we started rolling cameras. Another important piece of our community has always been office and that sort of things. And you said that's still hanging kind of weakly, I guess.
Yeah, it's still bumping along. I mean, the office market in general is very difficult, and what you're seeing in our area is consolidations and reductions of space continuing to occur. So there is a fairly large volume of empty space that's available. I mean, one of the bright notes is 75 Fairway, which is the former PNC building, was acquired in the last year by Genco Development. They are proceeding along with a lease that looks like it will occupy about 3/4 of that building, and it's a significant size use that will go in there. So we'll have more information in the future on that one. But that's been the rare exception here in town. You know, we see consolidations, we see empty space coming on the market. So it's still bumping along.
And again, before we get into the retail, which is what usually we're excited about, we want to know what to look for next. You said even manufacturing in some of our corporate woods areas or our corporate parks, that even that's looking good.
Yeah, we're getting there. I mean, we are working right now with a company called Canaflex, which is in corporate woods. They are actually purchasing a building across the street from their current facility, and will be adding a large warehouse manufacturing facility in there. They make large diameter pipes for various industries, and they'll be doing some of the manufacturing at that location. It appears that there actually will be some jobs that will be created as a part of that. So it's really a great opportunity both to see a reuse of an existing vacant structure, the expansion of that facility, and then again adding some additional jobs to the community, which is always a good thing.
Well, I like that. Cautiously optimistic. We will remain on that front as well. Now, one of the things we've been talking about, or we've heard about, is, and we've heard about this for quite a while, Westfield, Hawthorne, the mall. Right. But I understand that they've presented some more specific plans to you. How is that looking?
It continues to be slow. We had a joint meeting of the Village Board and the Planning and Zoning Commission on July 17th, at which time Westfield appeared and presented their entire plan for the property. And it really is a three-step plan, or a three-phase plan, so to speak. They're going to do a property-wide improvement of all their signage, both directional signage and identification signage. And several parts of that include multi-tenant pylon signs that will identify the individual large users in the center. Wayfinding within there, so it's all the directional signs in there. Some of those signs in there are 20 years old, and you can tell that by the color. And then the third item as a part of the signage is this large LED panel that they're proposing to put out on both the Town Line and Milwaukee Avenue frontages. So those are things that they've requested as a part of this. The second phase of this is a general remodeling of the 4 entrances to the mall. And what they're proposing, at least initially, is to demolish those entrance features and do a facade renovation and create more points of interest into the main entrances into the mall. Not the entrances through individual users such as Macy's or JCPenney's, but the mall entrances themselves. And then the third part of this project is actually the addition of a 12-screen theater. They're still working on the lease, so I can't tell you necessarily who that operator is going to be, but it will add about 40,000+ square feet to the north side of the building between JCPenney's and Sears. It will extend out from that mall entrance up on that location. It will be a 2-story addition that will have theaters on the second floor, along with the lobby area related to the theater. And then on the first floor will be ancillary restaurant uses that they're proposing. 2 larger restaurants and then a couple of smaller restaurant spaces. It will be access to the theater, so you'll go in on the ground floor from the parking lot. You'll go up an escalator into the lobby. The lobby itself will have your usual theater type amenities. They're also talking about providing a bar up there. So if you're waiting for a theater or waiting for a movie, you and your party can go up there and have a drink before you go into the theater. And it's really kind of a unique concept that we haven't seen here in town. So projected cost, $40 to $50 million totally across the property. You know, we're waiting on some more information from them with regards to this project. They had tentatively indicated that they wanted to start doing some underground utility relocations sometime this fall. We're waiting to see if they're still going to maintain that schedule or not. The intent, at least early on, was to start this utility work, get it done before the holidays, close down construction, proceed through the holidays, then reopen the construction sometime in February with the idea of being able to get that building up and operating by the holidays of 2013. It's an aggressive schedule. I don't know if they'll meet it or not.
And what I've heard people around town say is we've got other theaters, but I guess the thought is there's nothing like this where it's like that entertainment complex, even though you can't tell us who and what and how. They're trying to come up with like an entertainment destination. Yeah,
that's right. What they're trying to do is create a synergy with theaters, with new restaurants, with different types of entertainment and activities that you can literally go there. And if you take your family there, you can go there at 5 o'clock, you can have dinner or whatever it is, and then you can go to a 7:30 movie. Or you can go to a matinee movie and then go someplace within there and have dinner. They're also talking about restaurants that provide an entertainment component to it. So they're trying to create this location or a node where you will want to go and spend 4 or 5 or 6 hours. You can shop, you can eat, you can go to the movies, you can do any number of different things. Interestingly enough, one of the concepts they're talking about is leaving the mall open even after the stores inside close. So if, for instance, I park over by Macy's, I go to a restaurant inside the food court or one of the new restaurants, I then go to a movie, I leave my car over at Macy's, I will be able to walk from the theater inside the mall and back to my car without having to walk around the mall or catch a shuttle or anything like that. And that's something that's pretty unique right now and doesn't exist at the mall. So they're really trying to think about this whole idea of making it family-friendly, entertainment-friendly, and a destination from which that you want to go to.
Well, it sounds interesting. It sounds like a lot. I mean, there's been a lot of thought going into all this, so we just have to now just be patient and watch, and hopefully we'll get some names and some things coming out of that. So, well, and when you go around the corner from there, there's a couple spots just next to the mall. We've got the mobile station, and we've got the former Dominick's. I hear there's some things going on there.
Yeah, what people are going to see in the next several weeks, or at least by the end of August, is that for the mobile station on the corner of Town Line and Ring Road, that station is going to close, and they're going to pull the tanks out, and then it's going to close down. But not to worry, they're also talking about renovating the entire facility. They're going to demolish it down to the concrete, so to speak. They're talking about building a new C-store, a new car wash, additional dispensers, gasoline dispensers, and the like at that location. So people are going to start seeing more activity on that location, and quite honestly, it really needs it. There's a new owner. It's Buchanan Energy out of Omaha. They bought a number of these properties throughout the Midwest, and we're on their radar to be remodeled. Going next door to the former Dominick's. Dominick's right now, as everybody knows, has closed. We are working with Inland, who's the property owner, and it appears that we are going to see Hobby Lobby move into town. They're going to take the entire space. They're going to do some exterior renovation of the building. We don't have a timeline yet, but they have filed their building permit applications and the like, and we're moving forward with that. So that's great news to be able to fill that space up.
And talking about some other things, let's see. Did I hear there might be a Chick-fil-A coming to town, or are they talking about it? Or
Yeah, Chick-fil-A, they appeared before the village board about 6 weeks ago and the like, and they're looking at the Pier 1 location. Pier 1, it appears, is going to close. Chick has contacted them, and looks like they will be acquiring the property. The building will be demolished, and a new Chick-fil-A restaurant may very well be built there if they move forward. Timing on that is still up in the air. We're trying to look at maybe the end of September to get into the Planning and Zoning Commission for review, and then after that, probably construction, maybe starting it late this year, although depending on the weather, it's probably more likely spring of 2013, with them being open sometime in late summer, early fall of 13.
Well, and when you go across Milwaukee, there's that new Noodles and Company, and I guess that's gotten rave reviews.
Yep.
So these restaurants like this that make everybody excited.
Yeah, a lot of positive comments. You know, it's a great location for restaurants and those types of activities simply because of the traffic that comes through that intersection.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great place to be if you want to be a fast food place.
Well, and talking over in that area too, you had said that Old Navy is even making a shift. So there's going to be some shifting around within some of the malls around here.
Yeah, we're seeing some moving of the pieces and some consolidating. I mean, you're going to continue to see River Tree Court transition into more of a fashion-oriented type of center. Best Buy will remain, but you're going to see more in that direction. Discover Clothier is opening, or has opened there, and is doing well from what I understand. Old Navy is coming up from down near Sam's. They're coming up and going to occupy the former Michael space. Avenue is closing, but they're going to put somebody new in there. So you're going to see a transitioning of that center and a total refreshing of that center, I think. So that's a good thing.
That's interesting to watch. And then let's talk about, I guess, the final crowning jewel, which is the Vernon Hills Town Center down on 45 in Milwaukee, which kind of really, it used to be just Philly G's, and now it's grown up into just a really vibrant area. Yeah,
Taxman Corp has done a really nice job overall down there, and you know, I can't say enough about them and what has occurred down there. Real Urban Barbecue is now open and operating to rave reviews. We've got Hall Street Deli's down there now, and I believe it's close to being open. The beer market is doing wonderfully. Philly G's is doing as good as they've ever done in years. So there's a lot of good things happening down there, and like to the point where we actually had to authorize them to build a new parking lot down there, or an expanded parking lot for employees and the like. So it is a great place, another opportunity for people to go and eat and recreate. And I know you can go there and eat and then go down to the show down the street in an adjacent community and the like. So, but it's turned out to be a great opportunity.
And is that looks pretty full? Is that filling up pretty well, or is it to the liking of?
Yeah, it's very full, and there's parking at times is a struggle down there. But
that's a good struggle for a development.
And that's what we said when we did the development review. So if we have parking problems down there, it'll be a good thing. So, but the buildings are full. The apartments are full, and it's overall, it's been very, very, very successful.
Well,
so.
Yeah, a lot of change, because I know we've been following that for several years, so it's nice to see it come to that. So much going on. I like that, cautiously optimistic. We will hold that with us. If people want to find out more, there's a lot of information posted on the website, and of course, people can always give you a call.
Absolutely. Welcome emails, calls, whatever you want to do. And as you can see on the screen, I'm sure Mike will post my email and my phone number there. And I'm happy to talk with folks if they have questions. Feel free. Also, make sure go to our website, vernonhills.org. Go to our Facebook page. We have a Facebook page that we keep up to date with more information and the like. Coming up in the next few months, look for an update, and on our website we're going to do a full makeover on it and the like, so you'll see that occur. So a lot of good things happening, and again, I'm happy to talk with anybody if they have questions.
Wonderful. Thanks for taking the time, and everybody will make sure we shop in town, right? If we can, shop in town.
Absolutely. So,
thanks for the time.
Hi, I'm Officer Sharon Joseph with the Vernon Hills Police Department's Crime Prevention Unit. It's that time of year again. It's back to school. So today we're going to talk to you about some school safety tips and some safe driving tips as well. Okay, we'll start with some general tips for drivers. Learn where the bus stops and school zones are on your route of travel so that you're more aware of where there might be more children. Always look for bicycles, children walking, and crossing guards, another indicator that you are coming into a school zone. Scan between parked cars for children. They can move awfully fast. Be prepared to take evasive action in case one of those kids comes out from between those cars. Drive with your headlights on so children and other drivers can see you better. And avoid using cell phones while driving, especially during before school and after school hours. Remember, it's illegal to use a cell phone in a school zone unless you have a hands-free device or are calling 911. And speaking of school zones, the school zone speed limit is a mighty slow 20 miles per hour. The times are 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on school days when children are present. So if it's a weekday and it's not a holiday, just assume that there's going to be kids around. And a reminder that if a pedestrian is crossing the road, you are required by law to come to a complete stop, not just slow down until they are safely across the street. There are signs everywhere to remind you. Okay, we get a lot of questions about the proper procedures around school buses, so let's cover that next. The law says you have to react as soon as you see any visual signs of a bus in operation. This means as soon as you see the yellow lights flashing or the stop arm extending, you should be preparing to stop. Bus drivers are required to turn on those flashing yellow lights at least 100 feet before they're going to stop, so they give you a pretty good indicator of what's coming up. If it's a 2-lane road, traffic both ways has to stop. If it's a 4-lane road, like Hawthorne Parkway here, only the traffic moving in the same direction as the bus is required to stop. Remain stopped until the yellow lights go off and the stop arm is retracted, or the bus driver signals you to go ahead or the bus starts moving. This also applies to buses that are loading and unloading in a school parking lot. So don't go around them while you're in the parking lot. The penalties for passing a stopped school bus include a suspension of your license of up to 3 months and a fine of up to $150. Motorists in Vernon Hills will be getting constant safety reminders via these safety posters contributed by the AAA Motor Club, and they'll be posted throughout all the school zones during the first week of school. Now for the kids. Let's review some safe walking rules. Make sure you look all ways before crossing the street. Cross the street only where there are crosswalks. Walk, never run when crossing the street. Obey traffic signals or the directions given by crossing guards. Never chase anything into the street. And be extra careful in bad weather. Drivers are less likely to see you or might not be able to stop as quickly. Okay, kids on bikes. First of all and foremost, make sure you protect that noggin with a properly fitting helmet. You should always wear light-colored or bright-colored clothing so that people can see you better while you're on the bike. And remember, you have to act just like a car and follow all the traffic rules when you're on your bicycle. And lastly, make sure you lock your bike up properly when you get to school. And it's always a good idea to write down the serial number and the information on your bike and leave it at home in a safe place, just in case. And kids, please remember all your stranger danger rules. I know I've taught them to you. All right, that's it for now. On behalf of Chief Mark Fleischhauer and the rest of the Vernon Hills Police Department, we want to make sure you stay safe and have a great school year. And if you want any more safety information, you can always look on our website, www.vhpd.com.
Well, here on the update, we like to introduce you to some of our businesses here in town. And right in the heart of Deer Path is something called Symphony Clinical Research. Now, this is a heavy hitter that you might not have heard about, but you've probably had the benefit of because they're involved in a lot of testing and research for getting new drugs and medical things on the market. We're with Nikki Norris, the CEO of Symphony. And thanks for taking the time. I know you guys are really busy this summer. A lot's happening here at your organization.
Oh, you're right, Lynn. A lot is happening, but I thank you for being here, and we're pleased to be a part of Vernon Hills.
And you are a really interesting take a new twist on something that's been around for a while, and that's where you help pull companies and biotechs and all these companies together to help them do their research to test their products, and you do it in a really interesting way that has really made you successful, not only in this area, but across the country and across the world.
Well, I like to think so. What we do, as you know, many companies in this area, Takeda, Astellas, Baxter, they bring drugs and devices to the medical community, okay? And when they're trying to get a drug or a device on the market, they go through a clinical research study, which is highly regulated by the FDA in the United States, and they are very compliant with complex procedures to make sure that those drugs and those devices are safe and efficacious for the subjects participating in the trial. And they spend huge amounts of money, like $1 billion, and 10 years getting a drug on the market these days. And some of the biggest issues that they deal with are getting patients to enroll in their trials and getting patients to stay in their trials. And so what we do is we take some of the trial visits to the patients in their homes. And when we do that, we make it convenient. And when we make it convenient, guess what? People are more willing to consider participating in a clinical study, and they're more likely to stay in the study through the length of it.
Well, I had read on your website that sometimes you have even 60% dropout, of some of the, you don't, but the industry has just such a high dropout because nobody can stick with it. They can't do all of the, or they go to Florida for 2 months and that throws them out of the study or something like that. And you have really changed the industry because your rates of staying in are way in the upper 90%. So just by changing your model, you've changed the whole industry.
You know, I believe that's true. And on average, there are common industry statistics that say most studies have 25% of their patients drop out of the study. And we have been able to demonstrate one case study where it was as low as 3%. And what happens is that when you're trying to live your life, which is your number one thing, and deal with some kind of a serious illness, which typically causes people to participate in a study, driving to Northwestern is just a real problem if you happen to live in Vernon Hills, and I can help you that work better with the rest of your life.
So you kind of incorporate that home health care model is what you're doing. You have all the experts and you come right to me.
That's exactly what we do. We are a combination of expertise. We bring the expertise of home health care nurses, typically nurses in the United States, to clinical trials.
Mm-hmm. And you do all that work, all that connection, which is where you decided to change your name because you are orchestrating all these different parties in a symphony. Nice name.
That's exactly what our thinking was. We just changed our name, as you know, to Symphony Clinical Research. And our tagline is orchestrating trials in motion for exactly the reason you said. We believe that we bring experts, maestros, with their various instruments or their various backgrounds together to make this work very effectively for the clients that we serve.
Now, your headquarters is right here in Vernon Hills, but you work all over the place.
That is true. This is our headquarters. This is our corporate headquarters. But we can actually provide services to your clinical trial in the U.S., Canada, 14 countries outside the U.S., most of Western Europe, Israel, and Australia.
So you're all over the place, right from here in Vernon Hills. So, and when we talk about that, because you can help those people, that means even the patients who are involved in the trials, you can bring that amount of expertise too, because I know if I travel part of the time, I can still take part in this. So if I go to Florida to get away from the winter, I can still help the medical industry and maybe get some help myself with some of these new medical breakthroughs, and I can be part of this.
That's exactly right. We do a lot of snowbird work because of our lovely Chicago winters most years. But we also have followed people to college. We've followed people on vacation. We can take the trial wherever you want to be.
Wow, this is really interesting. Now, you've been around for quite a while too, because what year did you get started, and how did that history come about?
We were founded in 2003, and our founder was a lady who had worked in clinical trials, and in a different job, she'd worked in home care. And she realized that these two really made some sense and had some synergy. She brought them together. And so we know that this concept was tried as early as 1995, and then this company was formed in 2003, And anyway, kind of an exciting story since then.
It is an exciting story, and I can tell, I know that you're growing by leaps and bounds, and with so many new things coming on the market, I know you're busy as all get out with all your people all around the world. So we wish you the best. And now, I know before we started rolling the camera, you said there are things people can think about. You don't have to be like the next, you don't have to have a biotech company or a drug you're trying to test, but there's something that you can keep in mind if you're at home and you want to help this whole process, because you said, especially with somebody like you make it easy to take part.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the things that could really help, Lynn, is if people understand that there are clinical studies going on, and particularly if you have a family history of some genetic disease, you could be really meaningful in making this better for your grandchildren or your children's children. If you're willing to open your mind to a clinical trial. And there are ways you can participate in a trial and still have a convenient involvement without, taking over the rest of your life.
And how can people find out more about things like that? Is that through their physician or?
Physicians are the typical way people find out about clinical trials, but I think one of the things that's going on today is the internet, and there's just tons of information out there. If you happen to have an Alzheimer's issue, there's the Alzheimer's Association, and more associations are playing matchmaker between people and their interest in clinical trials. So I would encourage everyone to consider participation.
And it's like you said, it might not help today, but it definitely will help tomorrow and the next day after that, because these are long processes we're talking about.
Absolutely right.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. Symphony is right here in Vernon Hills. What a success story for you all, and we're proud to have you as neighbors. If people want to find out more, go online, check the internet, or give them a call over here. And as you said, keep your mind open to those clinical trials, especially if Symphony's involved. It'll be easy. So
thank you so much. Thank you, Lynn.
Well, we're here with Lisa Fishbeck of the Village of Vernon Hills, and she's the person that sort of knows everything that's going on in town because she's giving a lot of information to us all the time. Lisa, thanks for joining us, and you've got a couple of green kind of quick emergency information things you'd like us all to sign up for. Can you tell us a little bit? Let's go with the emergency information first. Okay. What would you like people to do?
Well, the Village of Vernon Hills has an emergency broadcast system, which you sign up on our website at www.vernonhills.org. It's called Blackboard Connect, and it's on the left side of the screen on our website. This is an emergency notification system where we have the accessibility to be able to notify all residents in the village or even a targeted road or a radius area that we can notify residents of, for example, severe weather warnings or road closures or something that's going to directly affect them or their residents or an emergency situation. We also have another broadcast system, which is not an emergency situation or not an emergency notification system, but more of a general information, which we send out weekly broadcasts on Thursdays. We provide information about events and activities in town, Arbor Theater concerts, maybe garage sales the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts are doing, or activities that residents might want to know about. And we also provide links to the Park District, the Cunha Museum in Westfield, in case they have activities or events that happen. And we'd like to encourage people to sign up for this because it's a wealth of information. We provide building notice information or public works information with regards to the West Nile virus. It's not an imminent problem, but it is information that we do want to get out. And since we no longer have the Village Voice, which we used to mail to all the residents, this is one of our major forms of communication to the residents. In addition to the weekly updates, we also have Garage Sale Central, which is something I created about 4 years ago, and it allows people to advertise their garage sales here in Vernon Hills, whether it be a community garage sale in a subdivision or just a garage sale that they're having in their yard. It's no cost to the residents, and that's also a broadcast that goes out to over 2,000 people that we have signed up on the broadcast email now. So we'd like to encourage people to sign up for the broadcast email as well as the Blackboard Connect.
So, and these are, like you said, all these things are free. There's no charge. It's just that you need to get signed up for them, because you don't just automatically have people's emails or the contact information. People need to proactively choose to get on the emergency Blackboard. They need to choose to accept those emails and or to take part in the Garage Sale Center. Like you said, if you've got something going on, you can get it announced if you contact Lisa.
Right, and I'd be more than happy to put things up. We don't do any commercial advertising on our broadcasts or anything, but we will support the nonprofit activities, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the churches, and provide the information and get it out. If there's an event with the Park District, we'll help with that. There's a lot of information that we send out, just, did you know kind of things. But it's, again, a wealth of information, and since we no longer have the Village Voice, again, this is maybe the only mode of communication that some people have with the Village of Vernon Hills.
Oh, and it's easy to do. You just go online, you click in a couple places, and you have to sign up for both things, sign up for both of them, but it only takes a few seconds, and then you're good to go. And if you even, you've got people who sign up that don't live in Vernon Hills, but they spend a lot of time because they're working here, and they want that information.
We do have the broadcast email, the non-emergency one, is divided into sections in the community, as well as corporate areas, north of Route 60, south of Route 45, and then the area in between. So we have a little bit of a leeway to target certain areas, but basically the information that goes out covers everybody. So, and again, it's a non-emergency. This is the broadcast email, which is also on our main website. It's very simple. You just put in your email address, and you can opt out of it if you don't want the emails as well. But it's a wealth of information. I spent a lot of people sign up. Again, you have the Boy Scouts, spaghetti dinners, fish fries. They're just a wealth of information.
So go online, sign up for those two different things. Make sure that's two different things. And and if you've got questions, contact Lisa. She'll help you out. And before we close here, you're also very involved in the community as far as the food drive and things like that. And even though it seems like the economy is getting better, that there's still a need.
There is definitely a need. The Vernon Township and the Libertyville Township food pantries are always in need of additional food items or assistance. We have cans in the deposit bins, I guess you would call them, at the Village Hall, the Police Department, or Public Works, and we would be more than happy to, if you do a food drive within your organization or office and have a lot of stuff, we can call us and we can coordinate one of the townships to come up and pick it up for you. There's always a need. The food drive is... there's just always a need. You would be really surprised to find out how much that people need the township pantries.
And we always think of it at the holidays, but it's really all the time.
Year-round. It is definitely year-round, and they are in desperate need of food items.
Okay. Well, Lisa, she's the person to contact. If you actually have a question on just about anything, Lisa's a good person to start with, and thank you for taking the time. I know people can email you, they can call you, they can go online and take a look, but you're here to help.
Always. www.vernonhills.org.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Vernon Hills has such a strong tradition of girls basketball success, and we've seen that with the high school on down, and most of the reason for that success comes out of our strong feeder program. We're with a couple people here who can tell us a lot about the girls basketball feeder program here in the village. We're with the Bretners. Stacy Bretner is the new director for the Vernon Hills Lady Cougars girls basketball program, and then Paul Bretner, who happens to be your husband, is the Vernon Hills High School varsity girls coach. So it's a wonderful team we've got here. Thanks for taking a moment. I mean, the day we're taping, it's the first day of school, so we got right after you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. Always good to visit with you.
No problem. Let's talk about the Vernon Hills Cougars girls basketball, because this is awesome, and you've been involved for quite a while. We've always talked to a different gentleman, Rocco Basolo, but he's kind of stepping aside a little so that you can come in, but you've been involved all the way through.
I have, yeah. I've actually started in the feeder program, and then I actually coached with my husband at the varsity level, and then Rocco pulled me back into the feeder program after I had my 2 children, and it's just been a great program to be a part of.
Well, I was going to say, and that's the true thing we have to talk about here. This is a true feeder program. It's a program that there's a lot of coordination among the schools, and the goal is to feed into Vernon Hills High School.
Yeah, we work a lot on verticality from the 5th grade feeders all the way up to varsity. We try to mimic things the same way so everybody's doing the same thing, the same skills, and really enjoy each other's success. We like to get our high school kids to watch the feeder games and the feeder kids to come watch the high school games.
Well, and you have a lot of success because you at all levels. Can we talk about the kind of success you've been having?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of feeder girls go through this program, and like this year they won 2nd in state. So it's an amazing experience to watch them grow and develop into the players that they do.
Mm-hmm. And like you said too, the verticality and the skills, I know we've talked to you guys before, the skill isn't just basketball skills. You guys are big on life skills and character.
Oh, absolutely. We strive to make the kids better players and people as much as we possibly can. Their parents do a great job. We get them great coming in, but we do what we can to make sure that that's important when we do coach.
Mm-hmm. And let's talk again too. You can come in. You said you've got program for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and people can come in at any point and give a tryout in there.
Yes, anyone can come and try out for 5th through 8th grade as long as they're in District 128, because we're going to feed into the high school.
Gotcha. And when we talk about this feeder program too, you can, when you go on the website, you can find just about everything you need to know about this program. But it's really affordable. Affordable, and you're having paid coaches, experienced people there.
Yeah, we have actually coaches that have gone through this program in the high school program, girls that will be coaching for us this year at 5th grade and 7th grade. And we have experienced coaches that have been there for a very long time, and it's just a nice program to be a part of.
And as I said, as a parent, it is affordable. I mean, you do things like you hand the uniforms back, so you aren't continually paying for uniforms.
Yes, I mean, we update our uniforms maybe every 5 years, but other than that, it's a very affordable program to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. Now let's talk, the season is, you start practicing in November?
The varsity will start end of October this year.
Okay.
The feeders will have tryouts in September/October.
Okay. And so then what kind of season does the feeder girl?
The feeders usually go from December till March.
Okay, and I saw online it says something like 30, 40 games.
Yeah, there's about 30 or 40 games and probably 1 to 2 practices a week.
Okay. And where's in your home gym?
Absolutely. Our home games are in the home gym in the field house right here at Vernon Hills High School.
There's nothing better than playing in this field house. This is something else.
Yeah.
So if people want to try out, I know there's information online, but really you just say come with the ball.
Yep, come with the basketball, and there's some forms on our website that you can fill out prior to coming, and just come. It's $20 for the tryouts, and then you can join us and see how you do.
Yeah, and as long as you're feeding into this high school, you can try out for the Vernon Hills High School feeder program.
Excellent. And I liked what you said, you all should bring your cougar can-do attitude. Now tell me what that is, though.
Well,
do I have it?
I think you could make the team, Lynn. I do. We won 2nd in state this year. We had a great year. We wanted everybody from 5th grade coaches, everybody to feel a part of it, our community, because we felt the great support. So it really is a one program with all levels.
It's cool. Very cool. Thank you for taking the time, you guys. Remember, mark on your calendar September 29th, which is a Saturday, and Monday, October 1st. Come to the high school. Look online so you know what time to be here for your group. But if you're interested in giving this a shot, this is a premier program. We're lucky to have it in town. So thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for taking the time, and go Cougars.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Well, now we're going to take a second and talk to a couple of girls who've come through this feeder system and have had great success, not only in basketball, but in a lot of things. Can you guys introduce yourselves to everybody?
Hi, I'm Sydney Smith, and I'm going to be a junior at Vernon Hills High School. I'm Lauren Webb. I'm also a junior at Vernon Hills High School.
And we've just talked with the Bretners about how great the feeder program has been. You guys came up through the feeder program, correct? Did you both do that?
Yes, we did. I played the feeder 5th through 8th grade, and then starting in high school, I played on varsity as a freshman.
So you had great success. You had the skills. Did you also come up through the feeder program?
Yes, but I started in 6th grade and played through 8th grade, and then I also started on varsity as a freshman.
So see, that's what I'm talking about, superstars. They're superstars in the classroom, they're superstars all over the place. Now, if somebody has a question, like think about a girl who's going into 5th grade. It's fun, right?
It's an excellent program. It's fun, and you learn a lot. You become a better player every single day. There are great coaches, great leadership. It's good.
Yeah, it's all good. Right?
Yeah, if you definitely want to play basketball in high school, I recommend that you do the feeder program 5th through 8th grade, or any year. If you start like late, it's always okay. Like the teams are always awesome. It learns you new skills and everything, and you just are ready for basketball in high school.
Sounds good. I'm sold. So thanks very much, guys. I'll let you get back to work, but thanks very much and have a good basketball season yourself.
Thank you.
Well, that wraps up this edition of the Vernon Hills Update. But remember, if you have comments or suggestions, please contact Mike Stordo at 847-918-3560 or email mikes@vhills.org. Thank you for tuning in to the Vernon Hills Update.